Good morning and welcome. It's Corporate Governance Platform brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, which is a leading recognized professional body in Nigeria dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. I am Funmi Omoburiu. All right, today on the program, we want to look at corporate meetings as a vehicle of attaining strategic objectives. And our guest this morning is Mr. Attaining CHKWUDUMLU, GRADICSA, is a legal compliance officer and corporate governance practitioner. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody listening to this show. Good morning. It's nice to be on the show.
All right. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning. With me in the studio is Mr. GRADICSA, FCIS. He's head of research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning for me. Good morning to you, Mr. Attaining CHKWUDUMLU, GRADICSA, our guest, and all our listeners out there. Good morning to you.
All right. We're going to take this message and we'll be right back.
The world is constantly evolving into a knowledge-based economy where skills and competencies constitute the lifeblood of public and corporate governance. You therefore need to empower yourself to fit into this new world by gaining basic knowledge and improving your skill set in the governance-focused disciplines. That is why every aspiring as well as practicing professional in governance field needs ICSAN.
ICSAN. What is ICSAN?
ICSAN is a leading statutorily established professional body dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN members are trained as chartered secretaries and administrators.
Who are chartered secretaries and administrators?
Chartered secretaries are high-rank governance professionals with a broad base of skills, unique amongst other professions. They are trained in law, finance, accounting, administration, strategy development, and corporate governance. In today's world, chartered secretaries and administrators discharge a wide range of duties and responsibilities, including functioning as chairmen of companies, executive directors, non-executive directors, company secretaries, risk managers, compliance managers, board evaluators, and corporate governance evaluators.
That is interesting. How then do I become a chartered secretary and administrator?
Good. Go to the Institute's website, www.icsan.org. You can also visit the National Secretariat of ICSAN at Plot 6, Elephant Cement Way, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, to get full information on how to become members. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
So corporate governance platform right here, and our guest is Mr. Attaining CHKWUDUMLU. And as I said earlier, we're looking at corporate meetings as a vehicle of attaining strategic objectives. All right, let's begin this way. Why is effective board meeting so regarded as important in corporate governance?
Okay, thank you very much. When you talk about effective meeting, it's important in corporate governance for several reasons. But I would say effective meeting, it's like a principal vehicle for conducting the businesses of the board and successfully fulfilling the strategic objective of the company. So you cannot talk about effective board meeting without the board probably having a decision-making body, accountability. Let's just say in summary, basically, effective meeting, are essential for, let's say, promoting transparency, accountability in terms of strategic alignment and sustainable performance, in contributing to the success and stability of an organization, really.
All right. Now, what are the committees that are traditionally recognized in corporate governance parlance as board committees? And in answering that, I also want you to briefly state their functions.
Okay. Traditionally recognized board committees and in corporate governance include nomination and governance committee. We have the remuneration committee. We have the audit committee. We also have risk management committee. And all these are encompassed in our Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance 2018. So when you talk about the, let's say, audit committee is basically responsible for overseeing the financial reporting process. We also have the internal control, the external audits, and compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. Matters related to financial issues. Then when you go to, let's say, nomination and governance committee, it focuses on board composition, directors nomination, board succession planning, which entails that the company should ordinarily have succession policy, and also corporate governance practice. So another committee, like as I mentioned, was remuneration committee, which basically deals with executive compensation, including their salaries, bonuses, stock options, and other incentives, and also ensuring alignment with company's performance vis-a-vis. Then the last I mentioned was risk management committee, which practically evaluates and manages the company overall risk exposure, including financial risks, compliance risks, legal risks, operational strategies, to safeguard the company's asset and reputation. But those are the four major committees under our Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance. However, there are some sectors, that have or are prone to have other committees. We have the financial committee, financial investment committee. We have, strategic planning committees. But for the purpose of our Nigeria Code of Corporate Governance, we basically just have that four main committee. Yes, so that's what I would say for the committees.
Okay. Now, what does the word effective in the effective board meetings signify?
Effective, yes. Just like the word is, probably signifies, let's say, efficient, being efficient. So it signifies that the meeting achieves its intended objective and outcome effectively. I'll use that word again, and productively. For one to say a board is effective, it should be a board that carries out good decisions. Where a board that carries out good decision, it should be where a board that handles issues are being addressed adequately. An effective board meeting practically is one that contributes to just the overall governance and success of an organization, by, let's say, facilitating informed decision making, constructive dialogue and meaningful action. So if these are not really being carried out, you can't really say a board is effective. The board is there to carry out good decisions that, in essence or on the long run, promotes or makes the company achieve its original objective.
All right. And, the Code on Corporate Governance, there's a provision in relation to the board that every director should endeavor to attend all board meetings. The attendance record of directors should be among the criteria for the re-election of a director. Now, why do you think it is desirable for the attendance record being used among criteria director re-election?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay, I was talking about a provision in the Code on Corporate Governance, and that's related to the board, that says that every director should endeavor to attend all board meetings. that the attendance record of directors should be among the criteria for the re-election of a director. So what the question I'm asking is, why do you think it's desirable for the attendance record to be used among criteria for a director's re-election?
Okay, thank you very much. I would say that using attendance record, as a criteria for directors' re-election helps ensure that directors are actively engaged, and also helps ensure that they are accountable and committed to fulfilling their responsibilities, by ultimately contributing to effective board governance and, like I said, on the long run, success of the company, So in essence, using the attendance record of, as a criteria for director re-election, it also makes them committed and engaged, It shows that they are accountable, really. It shows that they are accountable, and companies are allowed to, or it is suggested that board should meet once each quarter, which is like 4 times in a year. So you need to actually ascertain that they know what they are doing, because without an effective board, I use that word again, without an effective board, the company cannot grow. So the only way to know that these directors are actually being effective is by for them to attend this board meeting so they can make informed decisions. So when you want to elect those directors, you should ensure that they attend board meeting, because on the long run, they help in growing the business. Really.
All right, I must say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Anthony CHKWUDUMLU, GRADICSA, Legal and Compliance Officer, also Corporate Governance Practitioner. Thank you for joining us on Corporate Governance Platform this morning.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. It's nice being here again.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Ketefe, does ICSAN have or propose to have a guidance paper on board meetings?
Thank you very much for that question. For me, let me start by saying that even though the Institute already has a lot of materials that can serve as a guide on the issue of meeting and minutes writing, I want to focus on the most recent publication of the Institute on the subject, and that is the Company Secretary Handbook. This is the latest entrant among the educative resources of the Institute. And interestingly, the theme of the first edition of this Company Secretary Handbook is meetings and minutes. The topics that feature in the said book, we have a lot of chapters on topics like meaning and importance of meeting, type and nature of meetings, roles of the chairman and the secretary, the conduct of the meeting, the issue of employing relevant technology to enhance the effectiveness of the meeting, checklist and requirement of a successful annual general meeting, voting procedure at meetings, and emerging issues in e-voting, fundamentals of minutes writing, and logistics and resources management in preparation for the meetings. So you see, all these interesting topics are well embedded and treated in the book. So it's been sold for 5,000 naira. So company secretaries, directors, administrators, and other professionals in the governance field will find this handbook a very useful companion. Copies of the handbook, as well as other exam publications, can be purchased online at www.ixan.org. Thank you very much for listening.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kadi Ketefe, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN. And that's how we wrap it up this morning on Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. We'll be back again next week, Wednesday, on a fresh edition of the program. I'm Funmi Omoburi. Enjoy the rest of the day.